Hello, Virgo, and welcome to your reading. This is Bright Soul Collective Tarot, and these will be your intuitive insights and advice for the month of February 2022. This reading will be for Virgo Sun, Moon, and Rising. And as always, these readings are general in nature, so not all of the messages that come through will pertain to your situation specifically. So I do highly recommend you take whatever resonates and also keep an open mind to the information coming through. Make note of anything that you think might be helpful to you in the month ahead, and just keep that in the back of your head as you're moving forward, and simply release the rest. So I hope you're all doing well and that your year is off to a good start. I am super excited to read some cards for you to see what February might bring. And it is my hope that I can connect with and channel some empowering information that will help you to connect not only more deeply with yourself, but also the world around you, and to enter the month of February feeling prepared to really make the absolute most of it. So I have your oracle cards here already that I shuffled off camera. So these are the three that came out for you. So we will do a read of those cards. I will pull some tarot and some clarifiers, and then we'll finish off with some affirmations. Excuse me. And before we get started with actual card reading, I did take some time to channel some messages. So just to sit and intuitively channel and see what came through before actually getting into the cards. And this is just for fun. So these might be very, very specific to just a few of you. It might resonate, it might not, and that's totally fine. But I'm just curious to kind of see. And so these might very well be themes for you this month. So I'll go ahead and cover. So first off, before I even started channeling, the words lone wolf just kept repeating and repeating and repeating in my head, and I was like, I'm not even ready to do this yet, and it just would not go away. So I'm like, you know what, I'll write it down, and then I can move past it and we can see what else comes through. So I don't know if lone wolf makes sense to you. Maybe you have a connection to wolves. Maybe you feel as though you are a lone wolf, or that is an energy that you really connect with. Or maybe it's just a phase that you're going through currently in your life, where you're kind of doing your own thing and very self-focused and not necessarily part of the pack. And funny enough, the first word that came through to me was foundling. And I know foundling just because of, watching The Mandalorian, and the idea of foundlings it comes up a lot there. But I actually Googled the term, and the actual definition for foundling is an infant abandoned by its parents that is basically discovered and cared for by others. So I'm not sure how that might pertain to you and your situation. It might just be a connection to The Mandalorian if you are into that, or the Book of Boba Fett, because that is currently out right now. And just foundling in general, I don't know if maybe you were a foundling, maybe you were raised by people that weren't your family. And the difference between a foundling and an orphan is that an orphan's parents are both deceased. So it could just be even representative of, maybe you do have family that you're not overly connected with, or maybe you don't have a deep sense of connection to that family, and you've been kind of raised by or influenced by or kind of accepted by another group of people. Or a family might be something significant to you. Maybe you have the opportunity, not even necessarily literally, but maybe symbolically, there is some kind of foundling in your life, or some kind of infant or a little baby, or a childlike energy that you're encouraged to connect with and kind of take care of this upcoming month. It could be inner child as well. And then the next thing that I got was graphite. And so I obviously know graphite and pencils, writing, art, sketching, that kind of stuff. But when I researched the spiritual significance of graphite, it's apparently very helpful in expressing yourself through expressing your thoughts and feelings through writing and creativity. So if you're someone that likes to write, it may be a helpful thing to keep in mind. Maybe even like writing or creating art with a pencil specifically. And it could also be that writing is something that's really important to you in the creative process in terms of really like identifying what inspires you, and helping you kind of get out your creative ideas to kind of like, maybe you're the type of person that has like a lot of creative ideas and inspiration, and it's just a matter of like getting them down on paper first to kind of like help anchor down the bigger picture before you start taking action. So that might be something that's helpful to you if you are somebody who is creative or maybe struggling to connect to your creativity, or being encouraged to write and express yourself and connect to that through writing. And then the next word that came to mind was wonderland. So that could be anything. It could be like a song with that word in the title. It could be, Alice in Wonderland. It could be actually feeling as though you're in a wonderland. Like there might be something in your life or something that you're experiencing that's like really wonderful and fantastical, and like you're feeling really good about it. I don't know. Maybe you have some kind of other connection to that, however that resonates for you. The next thing that came to mind was marksman, or like marks person if we want to be inclusive, but marksman is obviously the phrase. So the idea of kind of like being a sharpshooter. So maybe you consider yourself to be somebody who's very focused and able to kind of execute with a high level of accuracy, like shoot to kill type thing, not necessarily in like a violent way, but like to really like hit your mark every time is important to you, and like you're always kind of hitting the bullseye. So that might be something that you value, a pressure that you put on yourself, a skill that you have, something that you're trying to cultivate. Might just be the energy of this month that you're really encouraged to hone in on that focus and make sure that what you're doing is really kind of like bang on. And the next thing that came to mind was frequencies. And then in association with that is like frequencies and radio static. So this could be a couple of different things. Like it might be like actual radio. It could also be that you are somebody that on a spiritual level, you're able to like pick up on other frequencies, on feelings, on thoughts, on information. You might be like highly sensitive or intuitive. You might be able to channel information, and maybe there's something that's kind of blocking or interfering you from really being able to connect with that ability, or really using those skills to kind of see the truth of what's really going on. So it just kind of get the sense that there might be some kind of interference, either interference in terms of your own personal blocks, something external that's blocking you from, and this could also be related to your kind of like creativity, right? With the whole graphite and writing. But yeah, so kind of pay attention for anything that's causing you to feel fuzzy or lack clarity. And doing what you need to do to kind of connect better with whatever it is that's being obscured, however that makes sense to you. The next thing that came through is the month of October. So October may be meaningful to you. There might be something important, something that you're looking forward to, or that might just be something to keep in mind as the year progresses. Maybe just make a note of it. The next thing that came to mind is Fiji. So Fiji, like the tropical island, or it could be Fiji water. I'm not sure if that is a destination, if you've been thinking about travel, or like a tropical paradise, a tropical island. And the whole island thing kind of goes along with being a lone wolf. So maybe you are your own island. It could represent a number of things, but if that resonates for you. And then the phrase, why is this happening? And so it came through 50-50, right? Because initially the way that it struck me was a very kind of disempowered, maybe feeling a little bit victimized. Like, why is this happening to me? And like kind of struggling and feeling a little bit sorry for yourself. And if you are in that energy, that's totally fine. But the general theme, the other half of it was kind of like a curiosity, right? So a curiosity and looking for meaning, looking for clarity, maybe like a bigger picture view, maybe a deeper understanding of life and the people around you and the things that are happening and why, and like maybe what you can do with those experiences. So it could very well be that this is a good month for you to start asking this type of question and start connecting more with the meaning that's going on underneath all of your life experiences and feelings. And then the last thing that came through was on guard. And so you might be feeling a little bit guarded, maybe a little bit closed off. Maybe you've got some walls up and you're kind of hesitant to let other people in or kind of share energy with other individuals. Or it could be that maybe you're anticipating something that will come along that will challenge you, maybe some kind of like attack or something that you need to be prepared for, or maybe something that kind of like sparks a little bit of defensiveness in you. So that could be significant to you. I'm not sure, but that's the end of your channeled messages. So we'll get into your oracle cards. Okay, Virgo, so your first oracle card is Soul Family. And it says, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. Interesting. So that kind of goes with the lone wolf. The second one is Green Aventurine. Right. And your third and final oracle is Inspiration. Well, that's a really cool card. It's neat too because this, like all of these tropical flowers and everything, it kind of gives me, I don't know, the Fiji vibe. All right. So the first thing that I must say is that, like, I am very much still getting the lone wolf vibe, especially with the Soul Family card coming out. So I don't know, maybe you're a highly independent person. You might also be a bit introverted, like somebody who really just likes to have their own quiet space and their seclusion and alone time, like to be in your own energy. And that is totally fine. It's totally good for you to be able to like enjoy your own space. But I also kind of get the feeling that in being that type of person, you might kind of be closing yourself off to opportunities to connect with other people or let other people in, establish relationships, establish lines of communication, or maybe even like work with or collaborate with people. Because I just get the sense that, like, I feel like in general, you might be a pretty open, collaborative type of person. Like you consider yourself to be, accepting of other people and inclusive, and you can like appreciate other people. But I just kind of feel like there's some kind of like hesitance or some kind of wall or block where it's like you can still work with and appreciate other people, but I think like there's like some kind of guard maybe, and that's why on guard is up. Maybe you're having a hard time like fully dropping the guard and fully like relating to and experiencing connections with these people on like the deepest level possible, on like a really authentic level. And with you don't have to do this alone. Like a lot of times we can get into a space where we feel like, we are the master. Like we know what we want. We know what we want to do, or we know what kind of action we're trying to take or vision we're trying to create. And it's kind of like no one else is really going to fully understand. So the only way to get it done properly is to do it ourselves. And that can definitely get you far. And it's good also to make sure that you are taking charge in executing on your own accord and taking that responsibility for yourself. But this is basically saying that like there are a lot of people around you that are going to be able to contribute and to support you and to really kind of like add to whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's just adding to your experience, adding to your happiness, adding into your social circle or your ability to kind of connect and relate to people. And it could be like a specific project. It could be a hobby or work. Like there are people around you that might be able to kind of like connect you with additional resources or insight or inspiration, or like really kind of help to facilitate whatever it is that you're already doing and experiencing. And it's about not being afraid to connect with those people. And especially if what it is that you're doing is something that's really important and meaningful to you, if it's close to your heart, it can be a lot easier to just, to keep those walls up and to protect it. And like, if it's your baby, if it's your thing, it can be natural to like not necessarily want to share that with other people, or not want to let other people in for risk of it being diluted or taken in a direction that isn't quite yours. And while that is important and there's something to be said for that, I really don't get the impression, right? Like, I don't think anyone is really out to like steal your thunder or to take over or to like really kind of influence you or whatever it is that you're doing in a negative way. I think that if anything, you're probably in a position where you're able to draw in people who are more aligned and who do understand and who do support you, and that you're going to be able to connect with in such a way that you can receive support and encouragement and resources that will help, and that you can also have open kind of communication so that there isn't going to be any worry about them, taking it in a direction that you don't want it to go in, whatever that is for you. That could be anything, really. So yeah, it's like, and there can be pride too, right? So if you've got something that is really important to you and it's kind of like a big deal. It can also be difficult to like let other people have a space in that or to share it openly, because I get this sense that maybe some of your interactions, and this could be like in relationships, friendships, family, could be in work, in hobbies, and like just in your social circle or whatever. But I kind of get the sense it's almost like a two-way mirror, right? So you are willing to see and to kind of like project outward and to share certain things, but it's kind of like on your own terms, in the ways that you feel safe and the ways that kind of like keep you protected and like are building you up. But you're not necessarily letting anything back through. Right? So it's kind of like one-sided, and not one-sided necessarily in a selfish way. It's just like, it's just really catered to safety and kind of like staying in your protective bubble, maintaining your lone wolf energy. And so you're kind of, in being in that state and trying to protect yourself, you're kind of robbing yourself of the opportunity to really connect on a deeper level, and like all of the wonderful, beautiful things that can bring to you, not only on a personal level, but like in terms of whatever it is that you do and whatever you're trying to create. Because I do get a sense of like, there's a huge amount of creativity and creative expression and energy here, especially with this inspiration card. And the funny thing is that Green Aventurine, it's a card of, it's a stone of like luck and prosperity and wealth, and like really, really being able to connect with wealth and abundance. Excuse me. And that doesn't have to be just material. Like, obviously that's one of the first things that come to mind is like money and material possessions, but that can also be like an abundance of love and happiness and fulfillment. It can be an abundance of creativity and like harmonious relationships. It can be anything and everything, not just money, but also like I do get a sense that there is a lot of opportunity for like financial prosperity and gain, and being able to connect with that. And so this card also emphasizes connection, connecting to people and resources that are going to help you, that are going to facilitate a higher level of growth, that are going to facilitate the execution of your vision, and like connecting you with the type of abundance and prosperity that you are looking to create for yourself. So while it might be an individual venture that you're on, or whatever you're doing feels more individual in nature, it's basically saying like these two cards together are saying like there is an abundance of support around you to be found. There are a lot of people that you can very easily call in, that will help you to continue along your path. And it's really just being open, right? So it's not only being open to possibility and like, the possibility that anything anything can happen. And there are an infinite number of possibilities and opportunities and ways to get to your end goal. But also, so I guess in being open to the infinite number of possibilities, it's like there are so many unique individuals that might be able to open up doors for you that will help you get further along your path that you couldn't possibly predict, or you might not even fathom or think of. So it kind of seems like this month that people, your soul family, your tribe, the people around you, there are people around you that align with you and that are able to support you, and it's just a matter of being willing to connect with them and like really connect on a deeper level and kind of let yourself be a little bit more vulnerable, because it seems like your biggest leg up this month, and the biggest thing that's really gonna boost whatever it is that you're doing, it's the people around you and the relationships that you have, and the connections, and just like, you never know, right? And so it's kind of like you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't do that with people either, right? Because I think especially when we're in the lone wolf energy and we're kind of protected on that level, it can be easy to kind of assume that we know what people are all about, or that, no one is quite going to understand, no one's going to get it. And I think you'd be surprised that if you start kind of opening up a little bit more, making a little bit more space for those types of genuine connections, and calling in this like family of the chosen family of people who align with you, that you might be surprised. Like, you might be surprised just how quickly things pick up, or just what kind of opportunities start pouring in. And with inspiration here too, so there's the bumblebee is here. And the whole thing with the bumblebee is like, it's like an unlikely success, because it's able to fly kind of against all odds, because its wings are very small in proportion to its body. And the reason that it's able to fly is just the sheer speed at which its wings beat or flap, right? And so it's kind of saying like, the inspiration card is saying like, you have an idea, like a big idea, or you have some kind of vision. It might be something that you're already aware of. It might be something that you've known of for a while. It might be a vision or an idea that comes to you this month. And it might not even be clear cut. It might just be kind of an inkling as to like something that you can do, something that you create. It might just be the seed that you can start to plant. But whatever that idea is, whatever that vision is, that creative thing that you are looking to kind of move toward, or that is coming into your reality or being made aware of, is basically saying like, no matter how big of an undertaking it seems, and no matter how unlikely it seems to be successful, even if you think like, wow, this is a really huge undertaking, it's going to take forever, and it's going to take a ton of money, and like, especially if there's the sense that like, I couldn't possibly do this all on my own. This is basically saying like, whatever you've connected with, whatever idea, whatever vision, whatever creative like inspiration has been made available to you, it is bigger than you, and you have like channeled that from something beyond, right? And so it's kind of like you have the support, not only like the divine support in doing this, because it's something that's going to be beneficial, and it's going to positively impact not only you, but others around you. And so it's something that's really important to be undertaking. And it's something important to kind of like birth into the world, because it's bigger than you. There's a bigger purpose. So you're kind of supported on all levels. You're supported, in the divine, because you are the channel for this information, and really like, to look at yourself as a human and say like, well, I'm only capable of so much. It's like, yes, that's true, but you are the divine channel for this plan, this idea. And you kind of have the responsibility of bringing that into the world. And so it's trusting that you are supported on all levels, and that if you allow yourself to kind of accept this vision and this idea as it is, and accept that it's something that is meant to be, and something that you can and will create, it's living in that acceptance and taking those first steps and being open, right? So that's the biggest thing, is like really, really being open to all of the possibility, all of the opportunity, not limiting yourself by the ways that you think it can happen or the things that have to happen in order for you to do it or to be successful. Really detaching yourself from anything that kind of shuts you off. You really have to be super, super open and accept this idea and start taking the steps forward, right? So start planting that seed or moving in that direction, and you will be surprised by how things fall into place, right? So the support is there for you. You just have to be open to it. You have to be willing to recognize it and to connect with it and like not shut the doors that are opening in front of you. And if you're willing to do that, things are going to line up, things are going to happen, and they can happen really quickly, because the further that you move along this path, the more support will come in if you're willing to recognize it, right? And so, yeah, there very much is a need for openness, not only to opportunity and not being limited, but also like to collaborating with other people, to receiving support. And that can be, and especially if it's a big undertaking, that's not just support in whatever it is that you're doing. And it's not just, financial support or, other people that you can collaborate with creatively. It's also people that can support you on a personal and emotional level as you're undertaking this, right? Because it's not necessarily, I don't get the sense that it's a small task that you're undertaking, right? So you are supported on all levels. And I think you're going to be very much challenged this month to get out of the lone wolf energy and out of the self-protected energy and really allow yourself to start connecting, because this can and will move forward. This is saying. And it is like, it's part of your life path. It's part of your purpose. There's a reason that you have this kind of idea, or this idea and vision is going to be coming to you. And really the test is that, it's going to be a test of faith and trust and willingness to be open and to receive that support. And also being able to trust that because this is very much supported, things will happen as they're meant to. So it's also not putting too much pressure on yourself in terms of like timelines or how you're going to get something done, because that kind of gets you into that place of fear or anxiety where you're more likely to commit yourself to limitations and not necessarily be open and be able to recognize the opportunities and the support that you can connect with. But yeah, it's knowing that this is a process that's meant to unfold organically, and that you will connect with the appropriate people, the appropriate resources at the appropriate time. So you don't need to worry yourself about that. Even if you hit a slow period, even if things start picking up faster than you could have imagined, just trust that as long as you're in the flow and you're open and you're participating actively, and especially being open to share of yourself and have like deeper connections, because I feel like that is also your meaning in it, is like your ability to connect with other people on a deeper level through this. And so it's kind of important for you to be open on a personal level to, obviously setting boundaries and protecting your own energy still, being smart about your resources, but being willing to be impacted by other people. And I think there's a possibility that this thing that you're doing or this idea that you have can be wildly successful and wildly impactful. That can connect you to a whole bunch of people. It can it can also be a healing thing for you. It can be, heart healing, and it can be healing for other people. And it can also offer an outlet so it might be something that's fulfilling to you emotionally, and personally, and on a creative and expressive level, but it can also be something that is healing for other people and that can help them connect to their own creativity and expression and healing as well. So that's huge. So let's pull you some tarot cards and see what else comes up. So your first card is the Chariot. All right, let's get another one. Your second card is the Six of Pentacles. Your third card is the Knight of Swords. All right, let's get one more. right. That was quick. Your final card is the Ace of Wands. I was going to say swords. I don't know why. Ace of Wands. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Pentacles. This is really cool. Yeah. Okay. So this might be something that you're already aware of. And even if you're not consciously aware, and even if you haven't necessarily started taking like solid action toward this, I feel like it's something that you're feeling excited about. Like you're kind of feeling like, I get the feeling of like momentum, like there's been this like momentum building up. So maybe when you became aware of this energy or of this idea, like it just kind of like sparked a flame in you, and it's almost like you're a pressure cooker. So it's like you haven't necessarily acted on this, but it's an idea that really excites you. And that excitement has just been like building and building and building. And it is just dying to like, it's dying to get moving. It's dying to get going. And if you're not already in that place, then you might be coming into that energy in February, or like as you become more aware of whatever this like really inspired idea is. And I get the sense that like, yeah, I think you do. And even if it's not related to this vision specifically, I kind of feel like you've got this restless energy right now. Like you're wanting things to move forward, you're wanting to make things happen, you're wanting to just kind of like start like charging ahead and like really, I feel like even on the most basic level, like you are very, very inspired to start making things happen in your life, like start setting your goals, achieving your goals, like, and like getting on that path and moving forward. Because I see like leading up to this, I feel like you have been putting a lot of effort in, a lot of time and effort into building your stability. And this is like material stability. So it could be like, it could be, building and refining your craft. It could be refining yourself in terms of personal development. It could be, building your skills, building your money, your savings, getting to a more stable and abundant place in your life. But it is the sense that like, so the Knight of Pentacles here, this is like the underlying energy. It's like, it is the most focused and like forward moving, steady, put your head down, put in the work, and like even the crappy parts, right? So it's like even the really, really boring, monotonous stuff that like isn't exciting, that isn't necessarily inspired. It's just like the work that has to be done in order to live your passion and like refine your skills and get to where you want to go. It's like, I feel like that's the energy that you've been in. And I kind of feel like you're coming into your own now, where it's the time that like all of this work, this path that you've been on, you've been paving your own way slowly but surely. And I get the sense it's been like a long time coming. And I feel like now you're coming to the place where it's like, even though you've been making slow progress, I feel like you're just ready to take off like a rocket to the moon. Like I feel like my gosh, I'm so excited. I feel like you're really starting to see the results of your effort, right? Like the fruits of your labor. And you're wanting to just like run full steam ahead. Like now that you've got this momentum, now that you've put this work in, you're like, yes, like finally I'm here, like at this base level, like I'm ready. I've got like some stability. I've got what I want, and I'm ready to just like take that to the max, right? And then like see what I can do. And so it's like a very, I wanted to say like aggressive, not aggressive in a bad way. It's like aggressive, like let's get this bread, And the challenge for you this month is actually like, it is time for you to kind of like reap what you've sown, right? It's a time of harvest. It is a time of recognizing how far you've come, the work that you've put in, what you've been able to accomplish, taking time to celebrate that and that stability. But it's also not just for you. It's being willing to share that with other people as well. And bring people into your success, bring people into your celebration. And so I think really your challenge is like, maybe you feel like you've been doing it alone. Maybe you feel like you have been a lone wolf and you have had to pave your own way and you've had to work so hard to get here, and you're finally here. You're finally like at the start at least of where you want to be, and you're ready to continue building, and you're experiencing, or you have experienced some success, and like the effort that you've put in is coming back to you now. And your challenge is to not shut off and stay in that individual energy where it's like, well, I worked so hard for this that I'm the only one that's going to benefit from it. Because it's basically saying like, yeah, you had to pave your own way, and maybe you didn't get a leg up. Maybe you didn't have anybody that like did it for you or like made it easy or opened doors for you. But now there's an opportunity. Right now you've got a lot of people. Maybe the doors are starting to open. Maybe you've established yourself and you're well known, and people are looking to connect with you now and looking to bring you into their projects, which is great. But it's also like, just because you're kind of doing your own thing and putting the work in by yourself to get here doesn't mean that everybody else should have to, right? Like if you were missing out on that support up until now, and it's now that you've kind of done the work to get yourself established that people are wanting to be around you and wanting to bring you in, I think it's really important to share what you've got, right? To share your knowledge, to share your resources, to help support other people, to see other people who are maybe struggling, to see yourself and the people around you, and not only be willing to accept the support in bringing your vision to life based on all of this abundance support that is available to you, but it's also being willing to extend that same kind of support to people who are coming from the same place that you came from. And it doesn't mean it's not like not like a charity case, right? Like it doesn't have to be everybody, but pay attention for people that are reflecting your own situation back to you, right? And instead, it can be really easy when you've put the work in and you're finally in a place where you're feeling better to look at other people who are in a similar position and be like, well, I had to do it, so you do too. Like, I didn't have it easy, so you shouldn't either. And like, I didn't have anyone to like connect me with better things, so you shouldn't either. Like, you should put the work in for yourself. And that there is something to be said for that, for sure. But don't be afraid to share. Don't be afraid to share your abundance with other people. And it would be a shame if you put all that effort in to get yourself here and you remain closed off in such a way that you're not willing to support other people in return, right? Because let's be honest, if you were in a position where you were struggling, trying to do it all for yourself, and you had an angel who was a little bit more established, who had doors opening for them, that was willing to bring you in and help you connect with the same kind of prosperity, you would take that, right? You would take that opportunity without a doubt. And then if you became successful as a result, would you say like, well, that person who connected me with that opportunity, like, they don't matter? Or like, I didn't work hard enough. I didn't get myself here by myself, so my success doesn't mean anything? No. Right? So like, just make sure you're not doing that to other people, and see that you have the opportunity, especially if you're doing something creative that can be collaborative, you have the opportunity to maybe take people that are at a bit of a disadvantage, or people who are working to get to where you are, and help give them a leg up. And just, also be mindful that you don't want to do that indiscriminately. If you are going to bring someone in and you're going to give them your support or mentorship or share the love, just make sure that it's somebody who aligns with you, and that you're able to kind of like suss out their true intentions and make sure that there's somebody that you're safe to work with, right? So that's another thing. And your recommended action is like, so align with your inner truth, have clarity in terms of what is right for you, what you feel like the right action is, but don't overthink, right? So trust your ability to assess and to intuit what to take action on and what direction to move into, but don't overthink, right? So this is just like going after it. Like, it's kind of cool that you have the Chariot and the Knight of Swords, because those are both very like fast moving, forward facing energies. And so they can be a little bit reckless at times, just because there isn't a huge amount of thought or overthinking that goes into it, but it's basically saying like you're in a position where you don't need to get caught up in overthinking. You really just need to start taking action on this thing, because I think on the inside, you know what's true, you know what's right for you. And like the overall energy of the month and the highest possible outcome is connecting with this really, really amazing opportunity for inspiration, right? To connect with inspiration, a new opportunity to kind of bring inspiration down and ground it into your reality, to create something new, to start a new path, a new venture, a new project, something that you're creating. So it might be related to the things that you've always done or the things that you're doing right now, but it might be just be like something totally new. And it could be something like really unique as well that hasn't necessarily been done. And that might be why there's going to be so much support for it, because it's something that's needed. It might be kind of like a niche thing, might be something that's not fully recognized or supported on a big level. And so it's kind of been overlooked for some time. But it's kind of like there is a community of people that needs this, right? And that this is going to serve, and it's going to be nothing but good. And you really just kind of like have to start taking action, have to start like trusting and being willing to connect with those people and receive that support, because these people want to make this happen for you. Even if they're not aware of it right now, it's like you are just surrounded by this support. And it's like, yeah, it's like really, really a great opportunity for something new that's going to be full of inspiration and creativity, passion and fulfillment. And like, I really do see this being able to take you to like the next level. So we'll get some clarifiers for these cards. Okay, so your first is the Mother of Swords. So that's the Queen of Swords. Right, so we'll clarify the Six of Pentacles. Okay. You've got the Seven of Swords. Right, so we'll clarify the Knight of Swords. Right, let's get clarification for this Knight of Swords. So we've got the Nine of Pentacles. And finally, we'll clarify, oops, my cards are all messed up. Okay, so finally, we'll clarify the Ace of Wands. Let's see what that's all about. Okay, you've got the Four of Pentacles. All right, and the bottom of the deck is the Three of Cups. Neat. All right, so first I'm going to start with the underlying energy, because, you know, I said the Knight of Pentacles is kind of about all of the hard work that you've put in here, paving this path, you know, trying to work on your stability in the material world. So like your craft, your skills, your work, your finances, your home life, all of that, and like this long, slow road to get here. And kind of like you're getting to the point where it's like now you're starting to see that the return on that energy. And the Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck is basically like that's a card of, you know, friendship and community and celebration. And it's got like an undertone of like, you know, love and fulfillment and happiness and connection. And so it does really seem like that's kind of the next phase to move into. So maybe you did have to do it alone, or you've done it primarily on your own and you've been in that real lone wolf energy, but you're really coming into a time where you're asked to be more connected, more willing to connect. And that might require you to be a little bit more vulnerable too, to share a little bit more openly of your emotions, especially if you've been in a really practical space. Virgo energy is very practical. It can be very analytical, you know, very down to earth, organized, just working hard and getting stuff done. And so don't be afraid of your emotions. Don't be afraid to be a little bit more vulnerable, because if you're taking the time to connect with people that you feel more aligned with, that vulnerability, that sharing and connection is only going to deepen those bonds and really take you even further. It's going to be a safe space for you, especially with your soul family. Those are your chosen family. Those are the people that you're calling in to support you on your path. So the Mother of Swords being here, it's like, yeah, your own personal truth. So it's kind of like coming into awareness or acceptance of what your personal truth is, what's true to you, what's most important to you. And I think that's really important, especially if you are moving fast and hard toward a goal, especially something that has meaning and depth and creativity, is like having this strong sense of self and this sense of truth and fairness, and being able to communicate not only effectively, like to be a strong communicator, but to make sure that what you're putting out there is true and just and right and honest, and knowing yourself enough that you're not going to be swayed by the opinions of others, but that you're going to be open to feedback and constructive criticism. So it's being able to take whatever's being offered to you, to see the value in it, and to determine, to be able to take a hard look at yourself and determine, like, hey, is this something I can do? Is this something I can benefit from? How can I grow? But not letting yourself get totally derailed or taken over by the thoughts and opinions of others. So I feel like you're kind of in that space where it's like, yeah, you do have a good foundation. And just make sure that you're speaking the truth from a place of fairness and like kindness and compassion, right? So it's not just analysis and black and white, what is right and wrong, but it's also kind of bringing love and compassion into it and being able to balance out like the straight cut and dry with the emotional and spiritual side and what you can gather from the world around you, bringing that all into balance together. And with your challenge being clarified by the Seven of Swords, it's kind of like, it's the Eight of Swords. I don't know why I thought the Seven of Swords. The Eight of Swords is really kind of neat because it really does kind of emphasize that lone wolf energy, right? So a lot of times the Eight of Swords is about our thoughts and our beliefs being the only things that really keep us confined. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling defensive, if you're feeling like you need to kind of like cut yourself off from other people or be really safe, it's really whatever you're thinking is your reality. Whatever you believe to be true will be true. Whatever you believe you are limited by will be your reality. So it's basically your thoughts determine your reality. And so you kind of need to be extra aware of what it is you're thinking and if it really is true for you. And if that's really what you want to believe, if that's serving you, right? So you can be deceived by your thoughts. And really it's just about being willing to step out of those patterns, to step out of those limiting beliefs, to step out of the thoughts that might be deceiving you, that might be making you want to shut down, to want to stay closed up in this cocoon protected, right? Because you have the opportunity to really transform and blossom and come into your full glory. But those disempowering thoughts that especially, I will say, thoughts that kind of keep you closed off, that keep you from being willing to fully connect with and be vulnerable and to share openly with other people, not only emotionally, but like in the physical as well. It's really going to rob you of this opportunity to fly, right? To soar. And especially to connect with your inspiration, right? And with the Nine of Pentacles being here with the Knight of Swords, it's like that's what you want to move toward, right? So if you've been on this like Knight of Pentacles path, the Nine of Pentacles is like a very strong, independent energy. And you know, it's being abundant, it's being settled and stable, and feeling confident about your ability to take action, feeling confident about your skills, your ability, like your work, your ability to make money, your ability to save, your ability to manifest in the physical world. It's like, you have this ability, right? And so you can charge forward. You can charge forward, and you can know that because you've worked so hard to set this foundation, you're not going to lose that. And you're also not going to lose your independence by pursuing or trying to create something that's going to require a high level of collaboration or a lot of support, because it's like you've already gotten here and you can still maintain that. Like, you don't have to give yourself away. You don't have to be completely reliant on other people. So really, I would examine any thoughts and any blocks that you have around relationships, around people, your ability to receive support, what you feel about the people that are surrounding you, any blocks that you might have to receiving love and support, or to being open to vulnerable, meaningful connection. Because that's really the only thing that's going to keep you kind of cocooned and like guarded, which will in turn be the thing that keeps you from really sharing the wealth, sharing your harvest, bringing people onto your path that can also benefit, because it's meant to be a mutually beneficial thing. Like, you can see, right? It's giving and receiving. So even if you're putting the work in and it seems like you're doing it yourself, you're not doing it all yourself, because you're still, even if you're working alone, right? You're not doing it by yourself, because if you're working and someone's paying you, you're reliant on that person who's paying you. You are giving them something and they are giving you something back. So nothing that you ever do is on your own or alone, but it's also being willing to like actively start incorporating people into that. So yeah, it's just being aware of those thoughts that might kind of sabotage you, those thoughts that might not be true, and recognizing that your beliefs determine your reality and what you're able to take from your experiences and situations. And so like maybe working to cultivate a set of beliefs and perspective that is like right and true, and that will kind of like lead you in the best possible direction toward your highest good, instead of like sabotaging you and keeping you kind of like stuck in a lower energy, especially if what you're trying to create is going to be like healing and kind of like a light for other people. It's going to be hard to channel that creativity and to bring that vision to life if you're not connected with that energy yourself. And yeah, with the Four of Pentacles being here, with the Ace of Wands, this opportunity, this creative opportunity for something to like really, like a plan to kind of start to hatch, that's going to be really something amazing and fulfilling. There's also a certain amount of stability. So it also might bring you to a greater level of stability in your life, right? So either you're building upon the foundation that you've already set, and it's going to bring you into a higher level of material abundance and stability. That's what I get. That's the impression that I get with this prosperity. Like, whatever you're doing is kind of supported on all levels, and it's being willing to connect with that. And so also the Four of Pentacles can be the miser card. It can be about like clinging to wealth, clinging to material possessions, maybe overvaluing them, instead of like, you know, the more spiritual and emotional sides of life. And it's also like not being afraid to spend money, right? So like, I would say like there is an opportunity for you to have stability and to kind of like grow your abundance, but you just need to kind of be aware of any blocks that you have around money and prosperity, your ability to manifest, or like fears that you have about money. Because you know, actually this new opportunity might help you kind of release your fears and your blocks about money and your ability to like receive, and really to be, not just to kind of get by, but like really to be abundant and really to have a good like income coming in. So it's like there's that opportunity, and it's just making sure that you're aware of and that you're kind of working through any blocks so that you're going to be open to receive. And a big part of that is not being afraid of money, not being afraid to spend money, not avoiding spending money on the things that you need or the things that will make you happy. Just being smart about your finances, obviously, like not overspending, but like also not denying yourself, because if you're trying to manifest prosperity and abundance, especially financially, and you are afraid of spending money or actively like trying to kind of like limit yourself from the things that you want or need all of the time, you can't enjoy your money, you're not gonna have an easy time bringing more in. So that's what I see for you guys. I'm going to pull you some tarot. Gosh, you guys have got me very curious, like what is going on for you? Because it seems, oh my gosh, there's so many that just came out. Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot do all of these. But the first one is going to be, I show up for myself and the world. So yeah, you got something to share. Oh my gosh, let me see. What else is here? Sorry guys, just bear with me. Oh, that was an explosion. Okay, this one says, when I feel blocked, emotionally distressed, or overwhelmed, I turn to my breath. So yoga, meditation, breath work, anything that kind of brings you back into your body, into your awareness of your body, is going to be something that will probably help you deal with any anxiety you have, if you're already prone to anxiety, especially. But then also, like, even if this is something really super exciting and it's going to be a beautiful outlet for you, or something that you are like amped up to move forward on, it's totally natural if you might have a little bit of fear or anxiety because you don't know exactly how it's going to work out, or if you can do it. Like it'll probably bring up some fears because you're going to be stepping into something new. So that will be something really helpful. If you are dealing with any amount of like discomfort as you move along this path, because it seems like a very transformative month. And like, yeah, like I said, it makes me very curious what you guys have got going on, because this seems really cool. Right? And then I share my light with the world. Again, sharing. So, and like there's two, like I show up for myself in the world, I share my light with the world. So it's like connecting with yourself and being willing to share honestly, authentically, vulnerably with the people around you, making sure there's no ego in that as well, I think is really important, because people will be more receptive if they don't sense like ego is driving you, and you're coming from a place of love and helping others, living your passion. And then I share my light with the world. So really, like, it does give me the impression that, yeah, there is a bigger picture to whatever it is that you're doing. It does have the opportunity to impact and help a lot of people on a bigger level. So it seems like you guys have got like big things going on this month, or like the opportunity to at least start connecting with that. Because like I said, this might be an idea or inspiration that comes to you this month. And then when in doubt, I play it out. So that, I think, really kind of speaks to all of the swords energy, especially anything related to doubt, anxiety, fear, overthinking, limiting beliefs, anything that's keeping you closed off and feeling kind of like hesitant to really deeply connect with the people around you. And then also it kind of plays into trusting, right? So trusting that you are meant to be the vehicle for this idea, right? To channel this information and this inspiration down, and to create it into something that's going to be a beautiful light in your life and in the lives of others. And you don't necessarily know what that's going to look like. You don't have all of the details, and you're going to have to be able to trust, right? Trust that if you accept this kind of mission and you start moving forward, trust that the right people will come to you at the right time, the right circumstances will appear, the right doors will open. And so if you are kind of feeling fearful or unsure, or you're experiencing doubt, try not to get too in your head, try not to internalize it, and just be willing to kind of flow with it, see how it goes. And I think you'll probably be surprised by how things flow for you, and the things that kind of come into your reality. And even if things don't move forward the way that you expect or anticipate or hope, there's also trusting that if they haven't moved forward, that's part of the plan. So in terms of timing and the way things unfold, that obviously remains to be seen. That's not something that you can know or have control over. So you really, really have to be willing to trust and flow with it, and just kind of let things unfold organically. So your job is just to be open. Your job is just to be open and to connect with those opportunities and not get in your own head, not block yourself, not block others. Be willing to share openly and receive the support that's available to you, because gosh, you guys are blessed. You guys are blessed this month. I don't say this lightly, but there's such a beautiful opportunity for you guys to do something big, maybe something you've been hoping to do for a long time. So gosh, that's really awesome. This has been the best reading yet. So Virgo, I'm so happy for you all. I hope this helps. I hope this resonates for you. For you guys especially, I would be so curious to see how this resonates. If you feel so inclined as to leave a comment, because I want to know what you guys are working on. This is super cool. But yeah, so if you enjoyed, please feel free to like or share this video or share my channel. You can also hop on over to my channel at Bright Soul Collective Tarot, take a look at my other readings, and subscribe so that you have access to my videos as soon as they're posted. And in the meantime, it has been an absolute pleasure to read for you. Like I said, I'm very happy and excited for you guys. This seems like really wonderful energy. And yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you for sticking it out. I know it's been a long reading, but it's been a pleasure to read for you. I look forward to reading for you again in the future. And in the meantime, I'm wishing you all the very best.